That's control, that's selfishness, that's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
She still thinks she can fool us. But the mask is off, and everyone sees through Blake Lively's manipulative tactics now. The charm act isn't working anymore, and the world's finally waking up.
Basically saying you're a liar, you misrepresent who you are.
Both Hollywood insiders and former fans are dropping her like it's doomsday. The boycott is real. And her follower count plummeting faster than her reputation, with record-breaking speed.
Court of public opinion, they've lost.
Blake Lively has officially become the most hated woman in Hollywood, and let's be honest, she did this to herself. Once hailed as a golden girl, she's now just a cautionary tale. The public is done with her obsessive control and PR manipulation. And the irony? Justin Baldoni, the man she tried to destroy, is now the one winning the court of public opinion.
Note the consequence has been terrible for Blake and Ryan in terms of people following them.
At this point, Blake Lively's reputation is fully in flames, and social media isn't just watching, it's torching every move she makes. But if there was one moment that screamed total spiral, it was her Hollywood Reporter cover on February 22nd. What should have been a harmless magazine piece turned into a public self-destruction in real time.
Insane. What are you talking about? She genuinely is not aware of how insane she sounds.
The image of her launching a slingshot at Justin Baldoni was supposed to be symbolic, but it ended up prophetic. Because that's exactly what she tried to do to him, and it blew up in her face. Now she's the one being dragged from all sides. She can cry victim all she wants, but the numbers don't lie, and no one's buying the act anymore.
A lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
Here's the truth. Hollywood can spin all the glossy narratives it wants, but fans run the show now. And Blake? She's getting obliterated online. Since September, she's lost a staggering 864,000 followers. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's follower count is soaring, up 2,389,322. It's the biggest drop Blake's had in 5 years, and the loudest message yet: the public has moved on.
It's insane, and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni keeps climbing, up another 159,500 followers. And just when Blake thought things couldn't get worse, February happened. She lost an additional 363,930 followers in a single month. Baldoni? Still rising. Her downfall? Fully televised.
Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand. Sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
Let's be honest, before Baldoni's lawsuit, people were still falling for Blake's performance. The sweet persona, the curated vulnerability. It worked, for a while. But then Baldoni dropped the receipts. And everything changed. The illusion shattered.
Last 30 days, she has lost 397,000 subscribers, okay? That is not a small amount. If you similarly go over to Ryan Reynolds, he's lost almost the same amount, 1,000 more than her, 398,000 subscribers.
Even Mark Porer, CEO of QR Code Generator Pro, publicly confirmed how quickly public opinion flipped the moment Baldoni pushed back. Why? Because people finally paid attention. They realized this wasn't some righteous feminist #MeToo moment, it was Blake Lively weaponizing her image because she didn't get her way. Just pure manipulation from a power-obsessed control freak.
You weigh it against Justin Baldoni. Look at his statistics. Over the last 30 days, he has received 206, or you could almost say 207,000 additional followers.
Now she's drowning in backlash. YouTubers, bloggers, T-channels, independent creators, everyone's tearing her apart. Millions of views are stacking up daily, and her PR team can't plug the holes fast enough. She thought playing the victim would trigger blind sympathy. Instead, she's become the internet's favorite punchline.
The version of this for Justin Baldoni was just Michael Scott in The Office, where he's just saying inappropriate things, but not with any ill will. But Blake Lively, much more different culturally, more about the power and thinking that this is about the feminist Me Too movement. How dare you do this?
And Hollywood? They've closed the door. Because if there's one thing the industry hates, it's an actor who causes chaos behind the scenes. And Blake Lively? She's been exposed as a full-blown nightmare to work with. The whispers are now headlines.
I found that incredibly telling. Hidden in a little footnote, her protection that, well, you know, I was told they were lawfully obtained. Yikes. Big, big yikes.
The worst part? She wasn't even the director of It Ends With Us. But you'd never know it by the way she hijacked the entire production. This wasn't her film, yet she forced last-minute script rewrites, overruled directorial choices, and bulldozed every boundary like she was some blonde Spielberg in training. It wasn't collaboration. It was a hostile takeover.
It will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have because the truth should be out there.
And here's the kicker, she had no official authority to do any of it. She was just an actress and executive producer. That's it. But somehow, in her mind, that gave her license to turn the whole production into the Blake Lively show. It wasn't about the story anymore. It was about control. And she made sure everyone knew who was running the set.
Showing a little ankle, but not the whole leg, if you know what I mean. I'm sure she wouldn't approve of that reference. Too sexist.
The atmosphere? Pure fear. Crew members and even co-stars allegedly stayed silent, not because they agreed, but because they were terrified. Terrified of being iced out, blacklisted, erased. Because if Blake Lively didn't like you, your career could quietly disappear. She spent years selling the America's sweetheart illusion. But behind the curtain? A manipulative tyrant pulling every string.
Control, that's selfishness, that's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
And now, even Hollywood is backing away. Jenny Slate and other unnamed actresses were reportedly pressured into supporting her narrative. But the PR machine is falling apart. Fast. When the Hollywood Reporter cover dropped, it shattered the illusion. This wasn't satire, it was a message. She wasn't the victim. She was the problem. And when her team tried spinning it as a sexist, no one bought it. Anonymous sources are still coming forward, citing threats and bullying. That cover marked a turning point. Because in Hollywood, image isn't just power, it is currency. And when you become a liability, they cut you loose. Blake Lively isn't just losing her grip. She is the grip. And now everyone's letting go.
She's a serial fraudster. That's called fraud. She's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake can spin the PR wheel all they want, but it's over. The damage is done. People see her now, clearly and unfiltered. And there's no unseeing it. She's not just losing fans, she's losing Hollywood. Studios are backing away fast. Because let's be honest, who wants to hire someone who hijacks productions, bulldozes directors, and throws tantrums when she doesn't get her way?
Claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
Blake was handed everything. A golden career. A picture-perfect Hollywood husband. Built-in industry clout. Non-stop media adoration. But she got greedy. She thought she could control everything. The set, the narrative, even public perception. Now, she's watching it all slip through her fingers. And the worst part? She still thinks she can fix it with a well-lit Instagram post.
They're staying anonymous. They're terrified of threats and bullying. It's a very neutral and interesting piece.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is coming out of this mess looking like an absolute saint. The contrast couldn't be starker. Blake's unraveling, ranting, spiraling, burning bridges, while Justin is out in Hawaii, surfing waves and living his best life. Her meltdown has become Hollywood's favorite train wreck. She tried to weaponize victimhood. But instead, she's getting dragged by fans, by studios, and even by the press. And the biggest blow? came on February 22nd when the Hollywood Reporter delivered the kill shot.
Now the Hollywood Reporter has seemingly outed the two actresses' names. They're pretty much being bullied to respond.
That cover alone sent Blake into a tailspin. It featured her launching a slingshot at Justin Baldoni, basically a cartoon version of everything she's actually been doing behind the scenes. But instead of owning up, she pulled the same tired trick, play the victim, cry sexism. As if that would erase the months she spent trying to torch Baldoni's career. The public's not buying it anymore. And neither is Hollywood.
Even if Justin was too huggy or whatever the heck, or said she was sexy, none of this warrants this. And you still have to atone for what you did.
The backlash was instant and brutal. Social media roasted Blake for melting down over a cartoon. This is the same woman who preaches about being a strong, independent feminist, and yet she threw a public tantrum over an illustration. The hypocrisy? Off the charts. But let's be clear, this wasn't just about a drawing. The article itself dismantled her entire narrative. It revealed that Justin Baldoni's so-called behavior wasn't harassment, it was rooted in his Baha'i faith, a cultural difference Hollywood chose to misread. Blake took something harmless and twisted it into a scandal. Now it's boomeranging back, and it's ugly.
Fitting that you go in there and you're like, yeah, I'd like to be an actor, and then you take over everything. I mean, just imagine taking this out of the context of celebrities, and you call a plumber to come fix your toilet.
If Blake thought she could steamroll this legal battle, she clearly didn't expect Justin Baldoni to actually fight back. The moment he did, her entire case started collapsing like a low-budget movie set. Most humiliating? She tried to delete key text messages to make her lawsuit look stronger. Unfortunately for her, Baldoni kept everything. Now her shady edits and selective omissions are public. Legal experts are ripping the case apart, calling it inconsistent, contradictory, and blatantly manipulative.